what about fiber?
Mm, indeed.
Aren't you blocked up?
Yeah. Well, as I say, in 8 years, no. One and done every morning, not even broken into stanzas. Is it stanzas or stanza? I don't know. With ease, no straining, no stress, no pressure, no difficulty of any kind. It actually turns out that there's one and only one existing study which is even anywhere close to an actual clinical study where people were followed up, people who presented with what was called idiopathic constipation. Now, idiopathic is medical speak for we don't know what the cause is. Now, a medic can never use the words I don't know, obviously, so they have to come up with a flash term. The term they have is idiopathic. So there's one for you. So people with idiopathic constipation presented and volunteered to be a part of this study. There was a group of 64 of them, and it was a multiple crossover study where what they did was, I think it was 4 different conditions that everybody went through in random order. So they took these people, they randomized who's going to get what first. And they said, right, we're going to have you change nothing, control situation. We're going to have you reduce your fiber by 50%. We're going to have you reduce your fiber to none at all. And we're going to have you increase your fiber by 50%. The hypothesis being that the high fiber group will have the best responses and the reduction in fiber will worsen this constipation. That was the hypothesis at the beginning, of course. As it turns out, the exact opposite was true in terms of the findings of the study. The people, well, when the people did the no fiber situation, irrespective of which order it was done in, those people got a complete remission of all their symptoms of constipation, pain, suffering, anal bleeding, all of it. It all went away on the no fiber situation. On the same fiber situation, nothing changed. On the 50% increase, it got worse, So that's the only study that looks at this even remotely clinically. It seems like it's like this was unequivocal because every single one of the people had complete remission on no fiber. And they had some remission in a dose response to reducing their fiber. Every one of those 64 people. I think we're done on that one.
Yeah.
Of course, people will say, oh, yes, but fiber is required because your enteric cells in your colon require a supply of short chain fatty acids in order to be healthy. To which is, I say, yes, they do. That's absolutely correct. And then I ask them, since you know so much about this, why don't you tell me what the name of that short chain fatty acid is? To which most of them will say, well, I don't know. In which case I'd say, well, why are you challenging me on this? But anyway, I'll help you out. I'll tell you. Here it is. It's a short chain fatty acid called butyrate. And they go, yeah. And I go, well, okay. When the enteric cells absorb butyrate as produced by some bacteria fermenting some indigestible fiber in your colon, what's the first thing that those cells do with that butyrate to make it actually metabolizable as an energy source? To which they usually say, I don't know that either. To which I say, well, let me help you with that. It undergoes a metabolic transmutation to another substance called beta-hydroxybutyrate. Are you with me now? Ever heard of that one before? No, they usually say, well, it's a ketone body. Okay, so the other thing you can do if you're not going to subserve the need for beta-hydroxybutyrate in the enteric cells from short-chain fatty acids by a small amount of fermentation of fiber in your guts, you can subserve that exact same substance from the blood side of those cells by having ketones in your blood. How do you do that? Well, you don't eat carbohydrates. Ketones.
Interesting.
So there is really no reason whatever to eat fiber, none at all.
So the cynic in me feels like the you need fiber thing is just a convenient thing to say for the food industry because they process plant-based foods.
Dead right. So they need to find any argument they possibly can to get you to eat things containing fiber because they're the people that paid for the science to tell you need fiber. 98% of all scientists agree with their source of funding. You'll find. I mean, the only other argument that people generally then say is, oh, yes, but if you don't eat fiber, then your gut bacteria will be the wrong kind. To which the answer is, well, nonsense. There is no wrong kind of gut flora. There's only a peaceable, balanced situation or otherwise. And there are many, many different forms of healthy gut microbiota, including balanced, happy, and peaceable arrangements of meat-loving bacteria in your colon, actually.
So, I mean,
about
it's
the gut
just going to.
microbiome than we do, we know less about the gut microbiome than we do about the surface of Mars, in fact. So,
Wow.
sorry,
So, sorry, I just wanted to ask. So, like, regarding the microbiome, that's just going to adjust. Will that just adjust to whatever you're eating?
yes,
Yeah.
of
Okay.
course.
So,
Over time.
their argument is totally mute, right?
Yeah, it's just wrong. It's
Yeah.
just not supportable with any science.